Are we coming to an end? Hey guys, it's CL, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I make brand new Critical Role recaps every Monday at noon, and would be happy to have you join the party. If you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the Bertrand bell to be notified of future videos. Now, without further ado, let's discuss the 49th episode of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. This was an unusual one. The episode opens as the Hells investigate the strange, glittering auras beginning to illuminate the sky in several different colors. The party is baffled, and honestly, after a few minutes, they get distracted and start to make phone calls about who may be able to help in the situation impending. Ashton mentions a few colleagues like Zealand, Bennett, or Shady Sally. How do you guys feel about that? Ashton has so many sussy connections that sometimes it feels like, can we trust Ashton themselves? More on this later. But Ashton requests they message Milo to reunite the Nobodies for a last hurrah in helping take down the Malleus Key. And Milo laughs at him. Because how on earth would all those people get to the key from Drusar in just a few days? Not everyone has skyships, guys. Know your privilege. Another not great contact they make is Gianna Hexam, who I sort of get. I mean, she does have a lot of connections and could be extremely useful, but she's worked directly with Odohan and Ludness. I don't know, but maybe it will work out. They also message Ira, the Nightmare King, and surprisingly, they're aligned. He is also apparently wanting to destroy the key, and the Hells make a plan to meet up with him at the Calloway hideout near Bassaris in a few days. The episode was extremely interesting. It was essentially a countdown to destruction between phone calls. They reach out to the Grim Verity to pass along the news that Ren has been frozen, which now means there's folks trapped in the Shadow Realm and in the Plane of Fire. That's when the Hells come to sort of a startling revelation. They may be on their own for this assault, and they begin throwing around ideas on how to potentially destroy the key. The current plan? Crash their airship into it. Pretty ballsy, but it could work. Just don't tell Captain Xandus. Chetney finally figured out what the glowing lights are. As darkness falls, he can see they're like shimmering, glittering rivers. They're ley lines. And with his high perception, he can see they're beginning to move, something the rivers of magic do every few centuries on the planet. And as the days progress, they start becoming storms, magic, thunder, and lightning. Yeah, this solstice is weird, guys. One night, Imogen, joined by FCG, Fern, and Orem, visit her dreamscape, and somehow she's able to summon her mother there to her. Even Liliana seems surprised, and Imogen begs her mother to return, to do the right thing. But it seems that Liliana's lost in the sauce. She's there of her own accord. She actually wants Predathos to break free, placing an image into her daughter's head of a life that's calm, serene, free of divine magic. And she sends them away, the foursome awakening and discussing what happened. Imogen wonders what it would be like, and if it would really be that bad if the gods were to leave the world. And Orem shuts that shit down, rightfully so, saying he didn't lose his father-in-law and husband for nothing. This leads to Fern and Orem quietly wondering in a private conversation that if Imogen were to turn, what would they do about it? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a secret group chat right now plotting the best way to take her out, even if Orem does say he trusts her. Orem also a few times reaches out to Dorian and the Crown Keepers. The same ley line glowing is happening everywhere, and the pair just wish that they had each other and they were there closer to team up against the Vanguard. One night, Laudna and Ashton have a drink-off, and here's where I start to wonder about Ashton. They say that they're jealous of the group, and that he hates them all, but he also loves them all. He didn't know what it was like to have someone there for them, and asked Laudna what she was feeling when everyone was surrounding her when she was brought back to life. He's jealous of that. When they were wandering the desert, first time waking since whatever happened with the Hishari, they were alone. And that word, Hishari, was the only thing in their head. And when they heard Orem say Ashari when they first met, well, that locked them together. They knew the group would give them answers they'd been hoping for. This was also just the night of talking shit. Between Fern and Orem having that conversation, Ashton also tells Laudna that he's worried for everyone else's safety when it comes to FCG's martyrdom, and wishes that the bot could see that they have their own life, and they don't need to die for others. Speaking of FCG, they send messages off to Dancer and Esmer to warn them to keep safe, but there's no response. However, he does finally send a message to Dee, the person who sold them to Dancer in the first place. Dee is pleasantly surprised, but tells our robot friend that they were pulled from the wreckage and that there are more Aormatons out there, and there's more to come. The future is theirs, and they should make their own choices now. And he says all this in a very low, sexy voice, and I've decided the D doesn't stand for Devexian. It's D for Daddy. Or D for Dildonic Device, as Laura said in the episode. Yeah, that's a clip you might actually have to go watch it for. Though a dust storm slows them down by one day, Bell's Hells arrive at the hideout outside Bassaris and finally meet up with Ira and the Callaways. One of the calls they made was for the Callaways to retrieve some batteries for a possible explosive option when it comes to overpowering the key. And it seems Ira had the same plots, wanting to use the Moontide crowd they stole to overload the key and detonate it. As to why, he just wants revenge on Ludinus. The Vanguard said they could handle the project without the Nightmare King, and, well, Ira's a petty son of a bitch. The party look into the slightly repaired telescope at the dig site, giving them a better idea on what they're up against. Yes, there are large fucking robots, but there's also an anti-magic pulse that surges every minute from the Malleus key itself. They will have to be quick if they want to destroy it if they're using spells or the arcane batteries. The episode ends after a call from Keyleth. A seed on Orum's belt he's had since the days of EXU is planted into some soil and grows, unfolding the voice of the Ashari leader. Her and the rest of her people have stopped the assault under Terran, fighting a group called the Cult of the Dark Heart, but it seems they're aligned. Virio, the man at its helm, was able to escape, but not before claiming that the Ruby Vanguard will be successful, and the voice of the Tempest requests Orum give them the location of the key and where they can back them up. What did you guys think of the episode? Let's go! Keyleth is joining up. Maybe we'll have a Vox Machina reunion, but this time we'll have everybody. That's my hope. This episode was extremely hard to recap. It was difficult deciding what was important to actually tell you since there's so much that happened in quick actions and phone calls. Like Taliesin finally went shopping. They spent 13k gold and got some cool stuff, like an amulet of health that gives 19 con to the wearer. Or that a Verity member named Arnold Trott was captured by agents from Vasselheim after the stolen texts. Or that there was a weird bird-like phoenix encounter that was easily sidestepped by polymorphing it into a goldfish. There were also just some sweet conversations too, like the one where Imogen apologizes to Orum for being tempted, but he tells her that he trusts her and knows she'll make the right choice. Or my favorite one, the one between Lana and Imogen, and they just reaffirm that they'll be there for each other, no matter what. Two better halves make a better whole, but Imogen says, "You have to love it all." So sweet. The episode was building to a climax. I don't know if there's more story after this. Are we done? If they fail, is the campaign only 50 episodes? If they succeed, are we building to another big bad? The only stories I can think of that need to be uncovered are so small in the grand scale. But maybe the Hashari backstory is bigger than we think, or maybe Delilah Briarwood still lurks somewhere. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and check out my recaps of Campaign 3 on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. But damn, my friends. My body's a temple.